What's in the box? Hi, I'm Michael Evers, and you're watching Fit to Be Read. Today we're talking about the Bene Gesserit. Dune is one of the greatest science fiction books of all time. Frank Herbert has created a fully realized universe and very rich characters. In this episode, I will discuss one of the most interesting character types in the genre, the Bene Gesserit. I may draw from beyond book 1, but not in any way that'll spoil the sequels. The function of this episode is to supplement the first book with general discussion of who the Bene Gesserit are. Feel free to use the comment section below for any questions you have about the Bene Gesserit, and remember to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell as well. The Bene Gesserit are a formidable and influential political force in Frank Herbert's Dune. They are a seemingly mystical order of women with abilities or powers that are regarded as supernatural or superhuman. Bene Gesserits endure strict mental and physical training. This training, along with the use of the spice, the drug melange, develops their power. The Bene Gesserit are very calculating, and they seek to manipulate humanity, affecting society, religion, and politics. They have a plan for the future of humanity, and their main tactic is to manipulate bloodlines, generally through arranged marriages and political subterfuge. Planting myths amongst early civilizations was a tactic that was used by the sect of the order known as the Missionaria Protectiva. Planting these superstitions and linking them to the Bene Gesserit was a key to much of the Order's future power and prestige. The Bene Gesserit are loyal only to themselves and are always focused on gaining more power and influence. The most esteemed or high-ranking women of this sisterhood are called Reverend Mothers. The main Reverend Mother that we're introduced to in Dune is Reverend Mother Gaius Helen Mohiam. Very early in the story, Reverend Mother Mohiam appears and tests Paul with the Gom Jabbar, a test of humanity, to build a case for, or to dispense of, the notion that Paul could be what's known as the Kwisatz Haderach. The Kwisatz Haderach would be a male with the ability to see into the future and travel mentally through space and time. The combination of precognition and the ability to access lifelong memories of all of their ancestors is an unparalleled power akin to being a Bene Gesserit messiah or a super being. Translated, Kwisatz Haderach means the shortening of the way, and also one who can be many places at once. Another interesting ability of the Bene Gesserit is the precise physiological control that they have over conception. This figures in the story as Paul's mother, Jessica, a Bene Gesserit, has strayed from the demand that she conceive a daughter. Because she gave birth to a son, Paul, and trained him in the ways of the Bene Gesserit, Mohiam shows up to assess Paul's ability and to test him. The test involves placing his hand in a nerve induction box, which produces extraordinary pain, while holding the poisoned Gom Jabbar needle at his neck. Failing the test would mean death. Passing it proves his extreme cognitive control, self-mastery, mental stamina, and gives more credence to the idea that Jessica's going rogue may have bypassed generations of selected planning and created the Kwisatz Haderach. The original plan was to breed a daughter of Duke Leto Atreides with a male from House Harkonnen, a culmination of 10,000 years of specific breeding to produce the Kwisatz Haderach with the next generation. Jessica throws a wrench into those works as her desire to give Leto an heir creates Paul. Had the Bene Gesserit manipulation succeeded, the expectation was that the marriage between Harkonnen and Atreides would end the centuries-long feud and put a Bene Gesserit-controlled male on the Emperor's throne. They really missed their shot with Paul, as he was not up for being their puppet. Their hands were also not clean when it came to the death of Paul's father, which further bred Paul's disdain for them. Revisiting physiology for a moment, in order to become a Reverend Mother, the Bene Gesserit endure what's known as the spice agony. They must consume the water of life, a poison that is created by drowning fetal or baby sandworms. They successfully transform the ingested poison to something benign. Through the process, they are connected to the consciousness and intelligence of past Reverend Mothers before them. In Dune, Jessica completes this while she's pregnant with her daughter Aaliyah. Herbert straddles the fine line of confusion over whether the reader perceives the Bene Gesserit to have powers that are mystical and supernatural versus plausible and attained through strict practice and focus. Take the voice, for example. Voice is a technique that the Bene Gesserit use to command obedience or influence the thoughts or actions of others just by using one's own voice in a distinct manner. The Bene Gesserit studies the other person's voice and/or mannerisms to glean the exact right cadence, tone, timbre, pitch, what have you, to control them. It would be easy in this science fiction novel to just accept that the voice is a supernatural ability. It was not, however, Herbert's intention to leave it as simple as that. While there is a mystery to this skill, it's not a leap to accept that voice manipulation is part of Bene Gesserit training and that they perhaps learn how to inventory another's voice and characteristics and customize their own voice to match it for greatest command. This training isn't fully explained in the book, but it is reasonable to accept in this universe that the voice is an astounding skill, yes, yet still one based on plausible extrapolations of the working of the mind and body. Prepping for this video, I read a 1969 transcript of an interview that Frank Herbert did with a professor at a state college. They discussed the power of voice and apply it to the novel and the Bene Gesserit. Speaking on the voice, Herbert remarks, "We're saying that if you know the individual well enough, if you know the subtleties of his strengths and weaknesses, that merely by the way you cast your voice, by the words you select, you can control him. Now, if you can do it in a gross way, obviously with refinement, you can do it in a much more subtle fashion, and it's done all the time in politics." The Professor McNally, points out that this is one of the techniques, incidentally, that science fiction does. It takes a possibility or something that does actually exist today and extrapolates from that, perhaps refines it, makes it more specific. Herbert calls it the science of control by voice. As a former journalist and political speechwriter, Herbert is no novice to the power of language. The Bene Gesserit are also truthsayers. Reverend Mother Mohiam just so happens to be the Emperor's Truthsayer. Not only does the ability to truthsay allow her to detect when someone is lying, it also directs the decisions of others around her who know they will be accountable for anything they've done if asked about it later. While it's not far off to liken truthsayers to a human lie detector, the truthsayer is not necessarily seeing the lie, but rather is able to detect if the speaker believes that which they are saying. Dr. Yui, the traitor, is well aware of this, and he anxiously sticks as close to the truth as possible when he's speaking with Jessica, as he fears her abilities to truthsay may detect his betrayal. Like many other abilities, the proficiency of truthsaying can be enhanced by using the drug melange. If all of these linguistic and vocal control manipulations, political, religious, social powers of influence weren't enough, the Bene Gesserit are badass fighters. The weirding way, it's a style of martial arts where they are trained to be fast and to maneuver and strike an adversary with implausible speed. In the reader's imagination, and also on the adaptations to the screen, the weirding way looks a lot like close proximity teleportation. There is no short answer to who are the Bene Gesserit, but this will serve as an introduction. The legend of the Bene Gesserit grows greater with each sequel in the story. Add your voice to this discussion in the comments below, like and subscribe to this video, and click on the notification bell, and YouTube will let you know every Thursday at 1 o'clock when I release new content. Thank you.